So I'm sitting here together with Hasana Elamin. Am I
Yes.
saying it right?
Yes, you're saying it right. Hasana.
Yes. So tell me about how many different ways does your name get pronounced? Because it's always a challenge with names, right? So my name is Anine, but most people pronounce it as Anine. But and it's important that we pronounce one another's names correctly, I think. So teach us now. How do you say it?
Well, if you look at the spelling, you would say Hasana,
Yes.
which honestly, some people in my family actually really do still call me.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from an Arabic perspective, which my name is an Arabic name, there's different ways that it can be said. Depending on the meaning, it's the same general meaning, but just a little different. So sometimes it's Hasana, sometimes it's Hasna, which is the one I choose.
Yes.
So those are the main two ways. But
Oh,
if you just were to read my name, you would say Hassan because
all
that's
right. Yeah.
but
But from now on, I'll call you Hasna.
right, Hassan.
Yes. And Hasna, I know you live in Egypt, right? So where in Egypt are you presently?
I am in Cairo presently.
All right, fantastic. I have been actually to Cairo once, and I went after you had the kind of turmoil going on in your country, and there were no tourists but us. So, which was a
Honestly, I'm
very
not from here. I'm not from Cairo. I'm American. I'm from Newark, New Jersey.
you're American. Oh, how fascinating! Wow. So, how did you end up in Egypt?
I decided to come here after I got divorced. Before that, I was actually living in Saudi Arabia for more than a decade.
All right. Wow. So you're a real globetrotter. Yeah, that's very cool. So, Hasna, you are an expert within a certain field, and I would love to hear what do you do, and what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today, what we're going to discuss is what I actually do is help women to tap into their feminine energy. And normally I work with divorced women and helping them to transcend from being so much into their masculine energy to embrace and reawaken their feminine energy so that they can build amazing lives for themselves even after divorce.
Ooh, that sounds very nice and very important. Because so we share a little bit the same a desire to empower women, but we have a little different take on it, and we have also a different group of people that we work with. So I also work with women. I work with women who or empower women who have put their own dreams, talents, and ambitions on the back burner to support their loved ones. And now they find that they experience themselves depleted and diminished, and maybe even have an existential crisis, as they know they are made for so much more. So I help them to connect with their life purpose. So we are coming from two different angles, and I think that the work that you do is utterly important, and I'm so eager and curious to learn more about how you got into this field of work. So why don't you begin by sharing a little bit, what is feminine energy? How would you describe it?
Well, many times when we speak about feminine energy, we normally always think about the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I move.
Mm-hmm.
But most times we don't think about how feminine energy is something that normally comes from the inside. It's your ability to tap into your intuition. It's your ability to show compassion, your ability to show love, your ability to be creative. But
Mm.
many times we focus on that outer image, the way that we look, the way that we dress, how we talk, when really it's having the ability to be able to go within
Mm.
and to go within and from within begin to shift and change our worlds.
Beautiful. And Why do you think that we need to connect with this? Isn't this something that all women just naturally should have, being feminine?
No, not exactly, because the way that society is really set up, we're normally taught to look on the outside. If we want to change things, go out, go do it, go talk to someone, go do this work here. It's normally we're not really taught to go within and to change our world from within. And to we're not taught to learn how to manifest the life that we want by going inside first. So this is something that's very important. And feminine energy is not something that's just for women. Men also, when they want to receive the good things in their life, they also have to tap into their feminine energy. We all have masculine energy and feminine energy, and both of those things needs to be tapped into in order to create the abundance, the love, the joy, the happiness, and just to receive the great juicy things in life.
Mm. Fascinating. And I notice that, we live in a very masculine world. And what do you think is the relationship between the imbalances we see in the world today and the lack of feminine energy that we have, activated, both men and women?
I think that a big part of that is because we're not taught how to look inside. We're not taught to value our intuition. We're not really taught to trust ourselves. We're not taught to value being creative in looking at the things that we want in life, let's say a business or let's say relationships. We're not taught to look within and to look at that from a creative perspective. We're taught to go talk to that person or go here and get people to come. We're not taught to think about what's going on within us. We're
Mm,
taught to just go out, do.
mm,
And especially for women, people don't really value the divine feminine or the feminine energy.
mm.
They really don't value it.
Mm. I find it very interesting. I think that they don't do it until a point when they are like broken, right?
With
That's
that fourth
when they
thing.
wake up and they realize because that they have neglected themselves. So they have been operating a little bit like machines, it sounds like, like it's so easy to be doing machines. I can recognize it in myself, that it was so valued in the society I grew up in, and also within my family, that don't sit still, be active and do. And the more you do, the more valuable you are. So I never saw my mother or father sit still. They were always doing things, that so you come from a different background than me. I come from the Lutheran background, and like we say that the Lutheran way is about like, you have to keep on doing, because that's what you just do, and for survival also you have to work. So it's
I can
interesting.
relate to that. I can so relate to that because I'm American, and as a Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
an American Black woman, like our whole culture as a African American woman is you have to go out here and you have to be achieving things. You need to be doing things. It's a new thing for us to begin to start to get in touch with that inner world and our feminine, divine feminine nature. More so we may be taught to be feminine as far as the way that we look, the way that we talk, the way that we dress.
Mm-hmm.
But normally it's not, it doesn't really go deep as far as our inner
Mm-hmm.
you know, femininity.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's across maybe the world, but I think that certain cultures are more in touch with their feminine energy than others. I noticed, for example, that the Latin countries, you know, like Italy, Spain, France, they are better at you know, taking care of themselves. They even dress more feminine, you know, like it's like almost a taboo in the Scandinavian countries to be too sexy, to wear too high heels, and to you know, like take long baths or whatever it is that we you know, maybe that the feminine energy needs to in order to grow, right? But let me ask you, what happens when a woman primarily operates within her masculine energy?
From my experience, what I've seen, and just from my own personal experience, I believe that it makes it more challenging to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Let's say, for example, she wants to achieve money, or she wants to achieve a great relationship, a marriage, or um, abundance. It's difficult for her to be able to relax into that because she's not able to see and recognize her intuition. You know,
Mm,
in order to achieve the things that you want, you have to be able to trust yourself. You have
mm,
to be able to listen to yourself. You have to be able to see when the creator is guiding you in a certain way. How
mm,
can you do that if you're not in touch with your feminine energy?
mm,
And I
mm,
know for me, from my experience, even as a coach,
mm,
I throughout my journey, I feel that I have transformed, yes, but I have even more transforming to do because it used to be difficult for me to just relax.
mm,
Just as even in my own home, it was difficult for me to just relax. I felt like I didn't have a right to relax
mm,
because it was just like, well, how can you relax when you have all these things that you need to do? You don't
mm,
know how you're going to do this. You want to create finances in this. You want abundance with this. How you can't afford to relax.
mm.
So
No,
that's one of the biggest. That's a subtle sign
mm,
that a woman is really in her masculine energy. Is her inability to be able to relax, and
yeah.
even her inability to be able to make decisions.
Mm.
To feel like she doesn't even know what it is she wants.
Ah, fascinating. I actually spoke with a client today that we talked exactly about this. You know, that we are often, women are so out of touch with what they want. If they just knew what they wanted, they would go for it, but they don't even know what they want because they are such doing machines, you know, just acting on every little thing that's out there, so that there's no room for, you know, the inspiration or the insights to come to us, because there's never downtime, right? So yeah, it's oftentimes I notice, and even with myself, that, you know, I was for years I acted out of much more masculine energy because I thought that was the only way to be, but also it had a lot of negative consequences, both physically, you know, it made me actually sick on many different levels, because I totally did not listen to my own emotions, feelings and emotions. You know, I would just, you know, you know, keep on doing or distract myself. Is that a typical way of dealing with you know, the inner stress that we might be having from not listening to our feelings and emotions, that, you know, we go off and develop different types of addictions? You know, I was addicted to exercising, and, you know, I don't know whether you drink, because maybe within your culture you don't drink, but, you know, I would drink, I would smoke. I mean, I stopped that long ago, the smoking, but I still drink a little bit. And sometimes too much, right? But I've gotten very conscious of how important it is to stay conscious, right?
I mean,
And not you know, just try to bury my stress or overwhelmed by drinking, because so many people actually turn to alcohol to calm themselves. You know, they don't know how to calm themselves.
I can't, well, for religious reasons, I don't drink, but I
Mm,
can relate to what you're saying as far as trying to use other things as a distraction.
mhm,
Because when I was married, to distract myself from the unhappiness of my marital situation, I also used to exercise a lot.
You did,
A
yeah.
lot. Like
Mm,
anytime anything would happen, I would just go work out. And I see now that it probably was not healthy because I wasn't using it. I was using it as to distract myself and
Yeah.
to feel better. But it's
Mhm.
okay, yes, it's great to exercise. And sometimes you can use exercise to feel better, but every time you need to feel better, you don't need to run to exercise.
No,
And
exactly.
as a personal trainer, I felt like, well, I know what I'm doing. I'm certified, and I know that you can exercise for up to 2 hours in a day, and it's just perfectly fine. But just because you can doesn't mean it's healthy.
No, exactly. Because I mean, you exhaust yourself, long term if you do it too much, right? And there is so much more to life than just exercising. And I think that it's our go-to because we feel this inner stress and turmoil, and then that's we think that's probably the best way to deal with these emotions is to exercise because we feel so much better afterwards. But the problem is that the problem resist.
That can
Yeah.
become a problem too. That
Yeah.
good habit can become a
Ex-
problem.
Yeah.
And also, I would never really go towards the healing exercises I wouldn't want to do. Like instead of doing something like yoga, which would have been great, and I don't think anybody's gonna obsess and do too much yoga. No,
Mhm.
I would do more intense things, you know. So I definitely can relate to what you're saying in reference to just using other things to try to dim that feeling of not really just not taking care of your energetic body. Because to me, that's really what it is. Like your
Mhm.
soul, your emotions, your inner world.
Yeah, exactly. It would be interesting to list some other addictions. I know that shopping, like a lot of women go shopping to kind of numb the feeling of emptiness, right? And they think that just by buying another piece of clothing or another pair of shoes, they will feel so much better. I have been there too. And another way that is what else? What could it be? What do you have any examples of other addictions?
Well, related to shopping, I knew someone who they were not happy in their marital relationship.
Mhm,
And every time that something would happen in their relationship, they
mhm.
would go buy new furniture. They
Yeah,
would give their old furniture, give it away, and go buy new furniture.
yeah. Or renovating their homes. I mean, I know so many couples that keeps on renovating, or like they think that they will repair their marriage through like building a new kitchen, but instead, they actually end up in so many issues and discussions, and maybe end up in divorce because they are not tackling the actual issue, right? So,
That's a good
yeah.
one because I can
Mhm,
relate to that a lot. When I was married,
mhm.
there was an issue that we had, and I thought that moving to a Muslim country would fix it, but it did not.
Ah,
Yeah,
is
because
your was your husband Muslim also?
I'm sorry.
Was your husband Muslim also?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that did not help. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Did
Yeah.
not.
Mm. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your marriage, and do you think that if you had been more in touch with your feminine energy, that you think you could possibly have saved the marriage, or do you?
No.
No.
It's not a
Okay.
marriage I would have wanted to have saved.
No. Okay, good. Was very clear. Then you definitely know what you are in touch with in terms of your needs and wants, and congratulations to that. That's excellent. So, what are some subtle but not so obvious signs of women heavily in her masculine energy, would you say?
Feeling the need to always be doing something, being
Mm,
overly aggressive, being
mm,
competitive,
mm,
jealousy.
mm,
What are some others? And just some subtle signs, again, is one big one is the inability to be able to relax and feeling like you have to control everything.
mm,
Even those things that really logically you cannot control.
Yeah, interesting.
Feeling the need to, and not being able to receive love,
Mm,
not just love, honestly, just
mm,
not being able to receive, whether it's abundance, whether it's money, love, just the
mm,
inability to be able to receive.
Interesting. Yeah, so they have no trust, they only have trust in themselves somehow.
Right,
And so
right.
they carry such a burden on their shoulders. thinking that they have to do it all. So yeah, so they probably, a lot of these women end up having burnouts, right? And I think that also these women can be like over competitive. That's like a sign of very masculine energy, right? Overly assertive. I think that's another kind of masculine energy. Yeah, perfectionism. I think that a lot of women also hide behind, perfectionism. Or hide their feelings behind that. Yeah, very interesting. And what was your life like when you were primarily in your masculine energy?
Well, if we want to talk about when I was married, I was just so not in touch with myself. It just not really allowing myself to really look at the truth of the situation that I was in, and not allowing myself to have wants and let them be validated. Like to actually feel like, okay, my wants and my needs are valid.
Interesting. So did you assert your needs at all in your marriage?
Yes, I asserted my needs in the marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you started doing that, but for a while you didn't, maybe.
Right. For a
Yeah.
while I didn't.
Yeah. 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 And yeah. And you have 5 children, isn't that right?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Wow. And so talking about being, like the amount of work on your shoulders, and how little time there has been probably for you to take care of you. How have you now been able to activate your feminine energy? How do a mother of 5, manage to activate, your energy?
I would say the first thing is knowing that it's a priority, knowing that you have to do it, knowing that if you want to receive the good things in your life, you do not have a choice, and not to mention the benefits for your health in general.
Yeah, that's the number one is awareness of
Number one is definitely
yeah.
number one is awareness, because once you're aware and you know that you have to make it a priority, then you will find the time. You will make the time. If you can't find it, you'll make it. You will make it a priority.
And what difference has it made to your like energy? Like, I'm all about energy, right? I think that our energy is so determinant for what we manage to accomplish, and the dreams we can achieve, and the impact we have in the world, and the connections we make, and how healthy we feel in our body and everything. So how has your activation of your feminine energy impacted your overall general energy?
I feel lighter. I feel more positive, happier. I dream even more, and know that I can achieve, the things I would like to achieve. I'm more calm, able to love more and actually receive love more.
Fantastic. Have you become even more patient? Because I think that women in masculine energy, one of the issues they are having, at least what I had, and that I see in my clients, is that they are often tempered and impatient. What about you?
You are so right. I will say that I don't. I'm getting better, but I can definitely say I definitely was I wasn't as patient. It still needs work. Honestly, it still needs work.
Yeah.
But yes, I do feel like I feel more like I can just relax into this knowing that what I want, I have it already. And yes, I can relax. It's no rush. There's no urgency. I'm just enjoying.
Yes.
So definitely. That's a major thing that I see that is different, is there I have a lot more patience.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. And that you're enjoying life. My daughter, she wrote a little note to her father when she joined him to his office when she was like 5 years old. And she said, Daddy, you need to relax and enjoy more. So children
Oh,
understand.
because they
Yeah,
know.
they know, and she's actually very good at taking care of herself, but I notice now as she gets older that she's pushing herself now more, and as soon as she does, she gets sick. So it's just such a clear sign that we are not human machines, we are human beings, right? So what are some almost immediate ways for us to activate this feminine energy?
Some really fast and immediate ways is to immediately begin to practice yoga poses
Mm.
that are great for the root chakra. The-
Mm.
That's the area at the base of the spine. And
Mm.
chakras are just different areas on the body, different energy systems. So that the root chakra will be the one that can be strengthened quickly, and you'll begin to tap into your feminine energy almost immediately
And
with
how
this.
do you do that?
How do you do the poses?
Yeah, how do you do that? How do you strengthen that base chakra?
By performing several yoga poses specifically for the root chakra.
Ah, okay. So that is something you teach?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Wonderful. What else can they do?
The other thing they can do is wear root chakra clothing. Wear clothing that symbolizes certain areas or chakras on the body. So normally the root chakra is the first chakra, which is that's your basis, that's your root chakra. That's where you start to feel helps you to feel safe and
Mm-hmm.
secure
Mm-hmm.
and grounded and helps you to develop more of a trust in the creator.
Yeah.
So strengthening this root chakra is very important, and it not being strengthened can affect the other root chakras. So to immediately strengthen that, they can do something as simple as put on the color red.
Oh, wow.
Wear
Fast.
red.
All right. So I'm almost red today.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm coral, right? Okay, cool. That's interesting. I'm sure that you have a lot more to say on that subject. And what else could they do?
They could eat root strength foods that strengthen their root chakra, like strawberries, like tomatoes, like any root vegetables. So like carrots, onions,
Mm,
potatoes,
mm.
vegetables strengthen the root chakra.
Oh,
If
fascinating.
fruits and vegetables strengthen the root chakra. So they
Mm,
can make sure to include plenty of those in their diet, preferably maybe after they perform a yoga session.
mm-hmm,
Immediately with their breakfast, add some red peppers, have some strawberries.
mm-hmm. Wow. I never knew that, but I mean, what I talk about is, I help people with balancing their dosha types, within Ayurveda.
Yes,
And a lot of women who are very skinny, they are eating way too much salads, and they don't eat the nourishing, warm, calming food, and that's why they are so anxious and agitated all the time, right? But this is actually would also help them with their feminine energy. That's to eat more calming, grounding foods.
right.
Interesting. And red, I love that. I love red. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So if people want to get to know more and learn more and get supported, because to do any personal growth work, uh, you know, this can be an inspiration, but to actually create change, one of the first things I learned, actually, I was reading a book, I think, like 25, 30 years ago, called The Road Less Traveled. And in that book, it said that no one changes without support. And I
Mm.
have seen that. I don't think we can change fully without support. And to do it together with somebody else who is holding us, encouraging us, supporting us, championing us, challenging us when it's needed is so important for us to actually get a transformation. We will change much quicker. So how can people get in touch with you, Hasana?
They can get in touch with me by going to my website, which I will leave in the link description. I
Yes.
also have an ebook available that they can download for assistance. So
All right.
they can reach me at the email, my website that I'll leave in the
Yes.
description.
Okay. Okay, great. Why don't you also just share it? What is
Sure,
the
sure. It's www.hasana, spelled Hasana Elamin, Elamin.com. And if you need to talk, book a call with me. We'll book a
yes.
transformational call and we'll get started on the
All
journey.
right. And they have a free sessions with the first session? Is it
Sure.
free?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful, Hasana. So this was so delightful to speak with you, and I'm excited for the work that you do in the world, which gives me actually goosebumps and a little tears, because the work you do is just, I have, my body speaks to me, and I know that the work you do to bring more masculine, no, sorry, but bring more feminine energy to the world will lead to a much more harmonious, balanced world where everyone can live and thrive. And
Yes.
we are where we are today, I am convinced, based on too much masculine energy. So we need to really get going, not in a masculine way. Well, maybe in a masculine way, we need to get in touch with our feminine energy, right? So we need to assert that. Yes. So thank you so much for sharing all your insights. It's been delightful to speak with you, and go out there and change lives and change the world, my dear. And I look forward to speaking with you at the later stage.
Okay, thank you, Anina. It's been my pleasure.